Amazing grace, how sweet that sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see.
Welcome to the Yahweh and Yahshua Speak television show. We are in Hebrew History Month, which the month of February the world calls Black History Month. But because it's about us, Yahweh's people, the Shemites, we, Ra'amakiah, before he passed, renamed it Hebrew History Month. And so that's what we started talking about in both January and February. We're on part 2 of our lesson. We're back. Oh, black Jesus, the stranger is very high above Yisrael. Let's go to Exodus, the 19th chapter. We're back. So who are we? We're Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe nation of Israel. Where have we been? Involuntarily scattered to the 4 corners of the earth and blinded to our identity as the 12 natural tribes of Yisrael. Go into Exodus 19. Yahweh intended for our 12 natural tribe families to become his 12 spiritual tribe nation. That's what he intended. Let's go to Exodus, the 19th chapter.
Like it is.
We're going to read one verse. Exodus 19, let's read verse 6, please.
Hallelujah.
Exodus 19, verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Yisrael.
This is Yahweh talking to our forefathers, the 12 natural tribes of Israel. He's saying, you shall be unto me a malkuth of Kahana, or a kingdom of priests. A holy nation, So he intended for all 12 tribes, natural tribes, to be 12 holy nation, a holy nation. It says, these are the dabarim, or the words which you shall speak unto the children of Israel. Let's go to Numbers, the 25th chapter. But the 12 natural tribes refused to allow Yahweh to make them into his spiritual nation. Go to Numbers 25. This caused him to work out his plan B. Yahweh always has a plan. Yahweh's will is going to be done. Whoever wants to cooperate, they'll be part of it. Whoever doesn't want to cooperate, they're going to get run over, moved aside, because Yahweh's going to do what he's going to do. That he prophesied from the foundation of the world. So our 12 natural tribe families refusing to allow Yahweh to make them into his spiritual nation is not stopping anything.
No, you can't stop.
He went to plan B. He set up the Levitical priesthood. He never intended his spiritual nation to be limited to only a few tribes. He did this temporarily to keep his plan moving forward. We're in Numbers 25. He also set in motion his purging, scattering, and fine-tuning process of the 12 natural tribes to make them into his 12 spiritual tribe nation by eliminating all the rebels among them each generation. That's what he's doing. He's eliminating all the rebels among the 12 natural tribes each generation. He's making his 12 spiritual tribe nation. Verse 25. We started looking at the first show. We're in the wilderness when he brought them out of Mizraim. He started killing them. All right. He started purging out the rebels.
He did.
Numbers 25. Let's start at verse 25.
Praise Yahweh.
Numbers 25
and 5. I'm sorry. Numbers 25 and 5.
Hallelujah.
That's what I want. 25 and 5 says.
Numbers
Praise
25,
the mighty
verse
Yah.
5. And Moshe said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor.
All right, so here's the 12 tribes right after they came out of Mizraim, and they're serving pagan deities. Here's Moshe. Yahweh told him to go among these 12 natural tribes, and he said to say unto the judges of Israel, kill everyone, his men that are joined unto this pagan deity.
Okay.
All right, Yahweh told him to do this.
Yep.
He's purging out the rebels. Verse 6.
Verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moshe and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel.
So there was a plague going out among the 12 tribes of Israel because of something they disobeyed Yahweh, trying to make them into a spiritual nation. It says, behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his ark. This is the man now, a Hebrew, natural Hebrew man. He brought a Midianitish woman, in other words, a Hamite, somebody who was not of Israel, in the sight of Moshe and in the sight of all the congregation of our forefathers, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation because there was already rebellion and sin in the camp, and Yahweh was carrying out, purging out the rebels. It says, when this son of Aharon, this temporary priesthood that Yahweh had to set up because the 12 tribes refused, the natural tribes refused to be made into his 12 tribe spiritual nation. It says, when Phinehas, this man who was of this temporary Levitical priesthood, he saw what this man was doing with this Hamite. He said he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin, a long spear in his hand. He went after the man of Israel into his tent and thrust both of them through with the javelin. The man in his belly and the woman in her belly. And then it says in Yahweh's hand was stayed. The plague stopped from the children of Israel. And what we're going to see is there's a theme running through the 12 natural tribes of Israel where they are lusting after strangers and strangers are lusting after them. And you see it right here where Yahweh stopped it and killed it, purged out that rebel to stop the children of Israel from doing that. Because what Yahweh's going to show us is that he said that when they lust after these strangers and they go to marrying them and having relationships with them, they turn the 12 natural tribes away from them. That's what the devil wants. All right, verse 9.
Verse 9. And those that died in the plague were 24,000.
24,000 people now, and this is Yahweh doing this, and he's still purging out the rebels among the 12 natural tribes each generation. Let's go to Exodus, the 12th chapter. So anyone who thinks Yahweh is about them being part of the 12 natural tribes of Israel obviously does not know what Yahweh is doing.
No, they do not.
He is making the 12 natural tribes into his 12 spiritual tribe nations.
So be it.
He began with the 12 natural tribes. In the end, his 12 spiritual tribe nation will include those not of the 12 natural tribes. In addition, or strangers. The English word stranger is the Hebrew word nakar, found at Blue Letter Bible number 5236. We go in Exodus 12. Jacinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon defines stranger as something strange, a foreign country, a stranger, strangers, plural, a stranger, unknown thing, especially used of a strange Elohim. Yahweh calls the strangers different things. He calls them a mixed multitude. Exodus 12. So he calls the strangers different things. Exodus 12. They're not bad, but Yahweh says everything has its place.
Yes.
Everything has its purpose.
Hallelujah.
And strangers were not for the 12 natural tribes of Israel to be having family relations with
Right.
and marrying them.
Right. Y'all
All
right, bro.
Exodus 12. That's out of order.
Yes, it is. Thus says Yahweh.
Exodus 12. Let's start at verse 37, please.
Hallelujah.
Exodus 12 and verse 37.
Praise Yahweh.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men besides children.
38.
Verse 38. And a mixed multitude went
Yeah.
up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
So this mixed multitude are strangers,
Y'all right,
not
bro.
of the 12
Y'all
natural
right,
tribes
bro.
of Israel.
Tell it like it
It
is.
says a mixed multitude went up also with them. This is talking about when they came out of Mizraim.
Right.
All right, let's go to Nehemiah or Nehemiah, the 13th chapter. So when strangers are among the 12 natural tribes, Yahweh commanded
Yes.
the 12 natural tribes not to have natural family relations
Okay.
with or marry the mixed
That
multitude
right?
strangers. That was a commandment.
Yes, it
And he
is.
has not changed.
No, he has
Nehemiah
not.
13th chapter.
Hallelujah.
You see a mixed multitude
Yeah.
came with them out of Mizraim.
Right.
Now we're going to see what happened later on. The 12 natural tribes disobeyed Yahweh's
Right.
commandment. Not all of them. There's
Not
always
Yahweh.
been some people
Yep.
that stayed true to Yahweh
Yes.
and did what he said.
Yes, like today.
And
us.
but there's always been some rebels among the 12 natural
Always.
tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
We want to make sure we're not of the rebels.
No, we got to keep ourselves in
All
check.
right, Nehemiah 13, and let's start at verse 1. Please.
Hallelujah.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 1. On that day they read in the book of Moshe in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonites and the Moabites should not come into the congregation of Elohim forever.
Now, Yahweh said these people shouldn't even be a part. And now this is Lot's children by his daughters that thought the world was going to end. The Ammonite and the Moabite. But here they're reading in the Torah, the book of Moshe, same thing we're reading now, in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of Elohim forever. All right, verse 2.
Verse 2. Because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit, our Elohim turned the curse into a blessing.
Yes.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude.
This is talking about those that had formed family relationships with them and had married them.
Okay.
When they heard the Torah, what Yahweh commanded, it said then they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. Yahweh calls strangers a mixed multitude.
Right.
All right? Let's go to Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter. So Yahweh said having natural family relations and marrying mixed multitude strangers would prevent him from making the 12 natural tribes into his 12 spiritual tribe nation.
right.
Deuteronomy 7. Yahweh knows what he's talking about.
Yes, he is. Yes, he does.
He has to teach us and show
Yes,
us
he
what the
does.
Yahweh is.
Hallelujah.
Deuteronomy 7. For all those people that got semen up to their above their head, and the women got their whatever it is going on, they better get it under control, because
Right.
he's not playing. He has
No, he's
not
not.
changed.
No, he hasn't not.
Deuteronomy 7. It has nothing to do with race. None of that. This is a spiritual
It has to
principle
do
Yahweh
with
put
thus
forth.
says
He's
Yahweh.
making his 12 spiritual tribe nation, and you can be a part of it if you want. If you don't want to, then you'll do what Yahweh says not to do.
Okay.
And rest assured, you won't be part of it.
Yeah.
Deuteronomy 7, let's start at verse 1, please.
Hallelujah.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. When Yahweh thy Elohim shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, and hath cast out many nations before thee, the Hittites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzite, and the Hivites, and the Jebusite. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou.
Verse 2.
Verse 2. And when Yahweh thy Elohim shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them.
Okay.
Thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them.
Verse 3.
Verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Now here's Yahweh giving them the Torah, letting them know what the commandment is.
Right.
He said, when he brought you into the land that you're going to possess it, talking about the land of Yisrael, which was the land of Canaan, or Canaan, and he's cast out these many nations before you, the Hittites, Girgashites, Amorites, Canaanites, all these are Hamites, which have been renamed Africans. All right? He's saying, when Yahweh will deliver them before you, you shall smite them, utterly destroy them, make no covenant with them. All right? Or show mercy unto them. Now you have to have this in balance today. You don't have to mistreat people. Yahweh said, don't form a family relationship with them. Do not marry them. This is Yahweh. This is righteousness. This is righteousness. Either you want to be right or you don't. He said neither. He said don't make a covenant with them. Neither shall you make marriages with them. That's talking about having family relationships with them. That means fornicating with them. All right? Because people try to do the shortcut today. They don't marry, but the fornication is the same thing. Right. You should not make marriages with them. Your daughter, don't give him to the stranger's son. Right. And your daughter, don't take their daughter unto your son. Right. Why? Now this is why. Why? Verse 4.
Verse 4. They will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other Elohim. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
All right? And then Yahweh quickened to me. He said, for they will turn away your son. See how he's dealing with the man? Your son from following me. You got the strange woman up, and he said, you're going to turn your son away from following me. Why? Because he gave the laws and statutes to the man to turn around and give to the woman. The strange woman don't want Yahweh's laws and statutes. They will turn away your son from following me, that they may serve other Els. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you. Now, when people groan, they do what they want to do, but you better tell them. You better stand up and act like you know what Yahweh told you.
Praise the mighty Yahweh.
Right? Ain't no point in everybody going to the lake of fire. So will the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you and destroy you suddenly. Let's go to 1 Kings, the 11th chapter.
Praise the mighty Yahweh.
So Yahweh's warnings not to have natural family relations with or marry mixed multitude strangers have always been disobeyed by the 12 natural tribes. Many times. And they're still doing it today.
Centuries upon centuries.
And now the devil is programming the strangers and the 12 natural tribes of Israel to disobey Yahweh and to lust after the strangers. 1 Kings, the 11th chapter.
Yahweh.
And don't get upset with me, brother. I don't want you. You got these people walking down the street with the stranger, and they looking at either the Hebrew woman or the Hebrew man like no, I don't want you. I know you just somebody dead, and you don't even know who you are. You know, you pumping up on a stranger pumping up on you. I don't want you. I'm just standing up and saying what Yahweh said because he told me to say it.
That's it.
All right?
Say it loud.
1 Kings 11. So if you foolish enough to go to the lake of fire over some dumb stuff like that, like I said, got semen up over your head. And the woman, whatever you got, you understand it? It's sad.
It is.
I'm telling you in love, because Yahweh said to say it. Alright, so Yahweh's warnings not to have these natural family relations with strangers or marry them have been disobeyed by the 12 natural tribes many times. We just saw where this Levitical priest took the javelin and got them both in the belly.
Right.
All right, just go bring that up and parade it in front of Yahweh's people.
Yeah,
1
right.
Kings 11. He's still not playing.
No, he's not.
Start at verse 1.
Hallelujah.
1 King chapter 11 verse 1. But King Shelomah loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Sidonians, and Hittites.
All right, the same people we just read about where Yahweh said they're not supposed to be among the congregation of Yahweh forever.
Right.
He got the Moabites and the Ammonites in there, lots of people. All right, then you got some of Esau's people.
Right.
Then you got some Hamites, the Zidonians, and Hittites. But Yahweh classified. He lusted after many strange women, just like in the Garden of Eden, where Yahweh said, you got a whole bunch of trees, just don't touch one.
Right, one.
That rebellious nature, 12 tribes of Israel just going for the one thing Yahweh said don't do.
Right.
And here's King Shelomah, loving these strange women, lusting after them. Because if you're doing something that Yahweh said don't do, that's not love.
No, it's not.
All right, verse 2.
Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their Elohims. Shelomah clave unto these in love.
He ran hard and fast after these. Just like the 12 natural tribes of Israel doing now.
Yeah.
Men and women.
Yeah.
Of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel, our forefathers, he's still saying it to us.
All right.
You shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. Why? Here's the reason again. This is spiritual,
Yes,
people.
it is. Yes,
This
it
is
is.
spiritual.
Yeah, right.
For they surely, no doubt,
Surely, God knows.
100%, 200%, 1,000%.
I know,
They're
right?
going to turn away your ruach, your mind after their elves.
Right.
And they said, this man clave unto these in love. Verse 3. Rebelled against Yahweh in
That's
this.
it.
Rebel.
That's
Verse
all it
3.
is.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. For it came to pass when Shelomah was old that his wives turned away his heart after other Elohims, and his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his Elohim, as was the heart of David his father.
So he's talking about his ruach, his inner man.
Right.
Because out of the inner man comes those evil thoughts and things to rebel against Yahweh. He did good when he was young. He's all virile and strong, and like I said, seaming up over his head. And then when he was old, Yahweh didn't say when it was going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
When he was old, it said this Iyshshah, these strange wives turned away his ruach after their elves. And then you can read further down where he started building temples to their elves. All right, skip down to verse 9.
Hallelujah.
Verse 9. And Yahweh was angry with Shelomah because his heart was turned from Yahweh Elohim of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
Now Yahweh came personally twice to warn him about these strange women, and don't do it. This is before he had married any of them.
Okay.
It says Yahweh was angry with Shelomah because his ruach was turned from Yahweh Elohim of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice to clue him in.
How dumb can you get?
He knew what the commandment was.
Yeah.
Warned him twice.
I know, right?
Verse 10.
Verse 10. And had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other Elohims, but he kept not that which Yahweh commanded.
So in his mind, he's thinking, I'm just going after the women. I'm not going. Yahweh told you if you married a stranger what's going to happen. It's like, wake up.
Right.
And has survived him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other elves, But ye shema not that which Yahweh commanded. If you took the stranger, you're taking their Elohim. Just a matter of time.
Yep.
Verse 11.
Verse 11. Wherefore Yahweh said unto Shelomah, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servants.
All right, so that's how the 12 tribes, that started the split up.
Okay.
The 10 and the 2.
Okay.
All right, Yahweh calls strangers heathen. Let's go to
Okay.
Leviticus, the 25th chapter. He calls them heathen. And so now don't be convicted if you engaged in this sin before you knew Yahweh.
Right.
You got in the water, you repented, you got baptized. Now don't go that way again. All right, Leviticus 25.
Hallelujah.
So I'm not going out here looking for no Gentile to hook up with, because I know Yahweh said don't.
Right.
Leviticus 25. Yahweh calls heathen mixed multitude. He calls them strangers.
Yeah.
Leviticus 25 and 1 verse 44. Leviticus 25 and 44. So in case you didn't know who a stranger was.
Okay.
And before this series is over, Yahweh's going to reveal how there's a lie that's circulating where they're trying to clump everybody into the 12 tribes of natural tribes of Israel.
Right.
And this is me talking. I think it's just to legitimize them wanting to go into the stranger.
Okay.
Like Yahweh stupid and not going to know. Hey, just because you say you one of the 12 tribes.
That's it, Rob.
See? Yeah, but we better stop lusting.
I know, right?
Matter of fact, I stopped it, but I'm just saying.
Hallelujah.
This is serious to Yahweh.
Yes, it is.
Therefore, it's serious to me, and it should be serious to you.
Situation.
Leviticus 25, verse 44.
Holla, Yahweh.
Leviticus chapter 25, verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondmaids.
All right, so Yahweh calls a stranger heathen.
All right.
We're not supposed to have Israel working for Israel unless they're paying them.
Okay.
All right, but he said that you could have these heathen as servants, which meant he calls Ham's people heathen. All right, they renamed them Africans. Let's go to Nehemiah, the 5th chapter. But we want to understand who the stranger is. Because people want to, well, see, I don't know who's stranger.
I know, right?
Hey, Yahweh is telling you right now who a stranger is. And then before you even came to Yahweh, you could look at African and know you weren't no African. Come on, something in your mind said we're not the same.
Yeah.
Why you going to grow up and then act like you don't?
You don't think the same.
Yeah. Nehemiah 5, and let's read verse 8, please.
Hallelujah.
Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse 8. And I said unto them, we after our ability have redeemed our brethren the Jews, which were sold unto the heathen.
Okay.
And will ye even sell your brethren? Or shall they be sold unto us? Then held they their peace and found nothing to answer.
So the 12 natural tribes had gotten so backwards, they were selling each other to the Hamites.
Right.
All right? Just like you read in Bereshit, the Genesis, where Yahsh's brothers sold him to the Hamites.
Right.
And then he went down and he was a slave in Mizraim.
Right.
All right? Up under the heathen, some other black folks. All right? So don't get us wrong. We love everybody.
Yes, we do.
But Yahweh has laws, statutes, and commandments, and He has things decently and in order. And He tells us what the order is.
Hallelujah.
All right, let's go to 2 Kings, the 17th chapter.
Praise
So he said, hey, we redeemed our ark, the Yadim, that was sold to the heathen, that was sold to the Hamites.
Right.
Now you trying to sell them again? or you trying to sell them to us?
I know, right?
Yahweh said, no, we can have the heathen as slaves, but we don't have each other as slaves.
Okay.
And he said they didn't have nothing to answer. Why? Because they were wrong.
That's right.
What can they answer?
They knew better.
The English word heathen is the Hebrew word goy. That's G-O-W-Y, found at Blue Letter Bible number 1471. Justinus Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon defines heathen as a people.
Okay.
A confluence of men, body politic, or whole people. Used of the nations at large, especially the other nations besides Israel.
Hallelujah.
Yahweh doesn't call Israel heathen.
No, he does not.
It is used in the plural of nations. The Hebrew word goyim, that's G-O-W-Y-I-M, meaning other than Israel.
Yeah.
2 Kings 17, and we want to start at verse 6. 2 Kings 17
Praise the mighty
and
God.
verse 6.
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 6. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria and placed them in Hala and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes.
Verse 7.
Verse 7. For so it was that the children of Israel had sinned against Yahweh their Elohim, which had brought them up out of the land of Mizraim, from under the hand of Pharaoh, king of Mizraim, and had feared other Elohims.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. And walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahweh cast out from before the children of Israel, and of the kings of Israel, which they had made.
All right, so now we understand who the heathen were. We just read in Deuteronomy 7th chapter, Amorites, the Girgashites, Hivites. He said, the children of Israel walked in the statutes of the heathen.
Okay.
He's talking about the Hamites, all right? Renamed Africans, whom Yahweh cast out from before the children of Israel. Talking about he got them out of the land of Canaan,
Right.
which he let the children of Israel take over. And of the kings of Israel, which they had made. Verse 9.
Verse 9. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right against Yahweh, their Elohim. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city.
All right, so what was it? Hooking up with the strangers. Doing what the strangers did. All right, let's go to Mark, the 3rd chapter. So the 12 natural tribes were forbidden to have natural relations with and marry strangers.
Okay.
But when strangers became part of the 12 spiritual tribe nation, Yahweh still used them in his service. You got some people spreading the lie. You know, if they become spiritual Yisrael, then we can marry. That's a lie. That's not in there. That's a lie.
Not written.
That's a lie from the pit of the lake of fire.
They just want to get with them.
That's right. Still lusting.
Yeah.
Mark the 3rd chapter. But when strangers become part of the 12 spiritual tribe nation, Yahweh uses them in his service.
Yes.
That's what he does.
That's it.
We're going to Mark the 3rd chapter. We're going to see where Yahweh had Yahshua call a heathen stranger to be one of his 12 disciples.
Okay.
Mark 3rd chapter.
Praise to mighty God.
Somebody may say, well, you know, all disciples, you know, they were of the 12 tribes of Israel. No, they weren't.
No, they wasn't.
Like, read your Bible.
Right.
Mark the 3rd chapter. And verse 18.
Hallelujah.
Mark the 3rd chapter and verse 18.
Praise.
And Andrew and Philip and Bartholomew and Matthew and Thomas and James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanite.
Now, Shimon or Simon the Canaanite.
Right.
Simon was a Canaanite or heathen stranger, descended from the 4th son of Ham, Canaan. Again, they were renamed Africans by the Romans. Go to Matthew's the 10th chapter. So Simon, the Canaanite, Yahshua had a Hamite disciple. A heathen stranger, but he was spiritual Yisrael. He became spiritual Yisrael. He didn't just remain natural minded and worshiping trees and all that other stuff. No, He converted. And accepted Yahweh.
Like everyone else must.
Matthew's the 10th chapter. But we want to know that strangers can be and are used by Yahweh. But just because they become spiritual Yisrael does not mean now that you can take them and form family relationships with them and marry them and go into them. That does not nullify what Yahweh already commanded us to do. Matthew's 10, and let's read verse 4, please.
Hallelujah.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 4. Simon the Canaanite and Judas Iscariot also, who also betrayed him.
So you notice how Yahweh specifically wants you to know.
Right.
Simon the Canaanite.
He wants you to know so you know what
He
you
wants
know.
you to know exactly that this heathen stranger was spiritual Yisrael, and Yahweh was using
Right,
it.
praise
That don't mean if I live back there I could go marry Simon. No. All right, Simon the Canaanite.
Okay.
All right, verse 5.
Verse 5. These 12 Yahshua sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not in the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
So he's sending them on this spiritual mission, just like we're on a spiritual mission.
Hallelujah.
To the 12, of which there was a Hamite. Simon the Canaanite was among them. And it says Yahshua sent them forth. And Sabbath them said, don't go into the way of the Goe. So we're going to see the Gentiles mainly refers to the Japhethites or the Caucasians.
Okay.
Where when he talks about heathens, he's talking about the Hamites.
Okay.
So he's talking about the sons of Noah.
Yeah.
All right? It said, don't go to the way of the Gentiles or any city of the Samaritans, don't go. Let's go to Romans, the 2nd chapter. So the heathen stranger Simon's people, the heathen stranger disciples Simon's people were the Phoenicians.
Okay.
And the nations who peopled the sea coast of the land of Israel before Yahweh gave it to our forefathers.
Okay,
The 12 natural tribes. So his people were from the land of Israel. And they were of the Phoenicians. We're going to look at those Phoenicians next week.
Okay.
All right. Yahweh calls strangers Gentiles.
Okay.
Romans, the 2nd chapter. We're going to see you talking about Japheth's people.
Yeah.
About Gentiles.
Yeah.
Although now you can have a Gentile mind, which means you're separated from Yahweh and thinking your own thoughts. That's what happening to the 12 natural tribes. They're hooking up with these strangers.
Yes.
Spiritually, they got a Gentile mind.
Right.
Mind separated from Yahweh. Romans 2, and let's start at verse 9, please.
Hallelujah.
Romans chapter 2 and verse 9. Tribulations and anguish upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first, and also of the Gentile.
Now we see these are two different people, right?
Okay.
Of the Yadim first, that's talking about us, our forefathers. And also of the Gentile.
Okay.
That's talking about a stranger.
That right?
Not Israel.
Not Israel.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. But glory, honor, and peace to every man that worketh good, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile.
We told you twice in case you didn't know they were separate different people. All right? Let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. So the English word Gentile in the New Testament is the Greek word found at Blue Letter Bible number 1672. Vine's Expository Dictionary of New Testament Words defines Gentile as applied to such Gentiles as spoke the Greek language.
Okay.
Now see, we don't do Greece, Rome.
I know, right?
All right. Since that was the common medium of intercourse in the Roman Empire.
Okay.
Greek and Gentile became more or less interchangeable terms. All right, Genesis 10. We want to look at the Old Testament.
Okay.
Talking about Gentile. Now it tells you where the Gentiles come from. Genesis 10 and verse 5.
Hallelujah.
Genesis chapter 10 and verse 5. By these were the isles of the Gentiles, divided in their lands, every one after his tongue, after their families, in their nations.
All right, so now all you have to do is do the study, and you'll find out this talking about European people, Japhethites, Caucasians. That's what they call them. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their land. And Yahweh always uses isles to refer to the Gentiles. But what Yahweh is going to show us in this series next week, or certainly before Hebrew History Month is over, is that the isles of the Gentiles were taken over by Ham's people And we're going to look at in Judges
Hallelujah.
where they took over their lands. After the flood, Japheth's people spread out and went up into Europe and Isles of Greece and Italy and things like that. Ham's people went further south on the continent of the land of Ham. And then Shem's people went a little bit of the Middle East and over in Turkey and different places like that. All right, and Yahweh, after Egyptian slavery, said, okay, you take over the northern part of the land of Ham.
Okay.
All right, but Ham's people conquered Japheth's people, and we're going to see that they were the ones that first went over the whole globe and colonized the globe.
Right.
All right, Yahweh's going to show us the proof text. All right, he said, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands. Now you're talking about the Gentile or you're talking about Japheth's people.
Right.
Let's go to Judges, the 4th chapter. So we can see how Ham's people, they took the land away from Japheth's people.
Okay.
And we're going to look a little bit at Hannibal and all of them. They were all up in Europe.
Okay.
Kicking the Japhethites' butts and taking their land.
Yeah.
Until it was time for the Japhethites to rule.
All right.
Judges, the 4th chapter. But we want to keep that isle of the Gentiles or the Gentile word.
Yeah.
Judges 4 verse 2.
Hallelujah.
Judges chapter 4 verse 2. And Yahweh sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dwelt in Harosheth of the Gentiles.
Of the what? Of the Gentiles.
Yeah.
Who was his king? Sold him into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, right?
Yeah.
Those are the so-called Africans.
Right.
Yes.
The king of Canaan that reigned in Hazor, the captain of whose host was Sisera, he lived in Harosheth of the Gentiles.
Right.
Already took the land away from Japheth's people. All right? So we'll delve into that later. Let's go to Acts, the 16th chapter, so we can really look at how the Hamites colonized the whole globe before Japheth even got out of the starting gate.
Right.
The English word Gentiles, going to Acts 16. In the Old Testament is the same Hebrew word used for heathen.
Okay.
Gowi.
All right.
G-O-W-Y, found at Blue Letter Bible number 1471. Jusinius Hebrew Chaldee Lexicon adds to this definition of Gentiles that it embraces all nations, not Yadim, that made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks as their own. So that where they are opposed to the Yadim, the primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship.
Okay.
All right? Now, we're going to look at Acts 16th chapter.
Hallelujah.
The disciple Timothy was a Gentile stranger.
Okay.
He was spiritual Yisrael.
That's it.
All right? That don't mean if I was living back then I could marry Timothy. All right, Acts the 16th chapter. And he was a Gentile stranger.
That's
16.
Right.
Let's start at verse 1, please.
Hallelujah.
Acts chapter 16 and verse 1. Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there, named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, and believed, but his father was a Greek.
Now, she was a Yadim.
Right.
She was like me, but she was rebellious.
Yep.
It said, he came to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple there named Timotheus. He was spiritual Yisrael.
Right.
He was the son of a certain Iyshshah, which was a Yadim. She was a Hebrew.
Yeah.
And believed, but his father was a Greek. He was a Gentile.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 2.
Verse 2. Which was well reported of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium.
Faithful brother. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Him would Shaul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him because of the Jews which were in those quarters, for they knew all that his father was a Greek.
All right. See that?
Yeah.
rebelled against Yahweh. She knew he was supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. It says, him would Shaul have to go forth with him, because he was part of spiritual Yisrael.
Right.
So for the people, there's the Gentiles is hollering about, oh, you don't have to be circumcised. Hey, Timothy wasn't circumcised, and Shaul made sure that he was, if he was going to go on the mission and do what he had him to do, what Yahweh wanted him to do. It said, him would Shaul have to go with him. He took and circumcised him because of the Yadim, which were in those quarters, for they knew that his father was a Greek. He was a Gentile. He was a Japhethite.
Right.
He hadn't been circumcised. His rebellious mother wasn't supposed to have married this Caucasian.
All right.
Let's go to 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter. 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter. So Timothy's mother was of the 12 natural tribes of Israel.
Right.
She broke Yahweh's commandments not to have natural relations with strangers and married Timothy's father, a Greek, which made Timothy a Japhethite.
All right.
But he became spiritual Yisrael. 2 Timothy, the 1st chapter.
Hallelujah.
And let's start at verse 2. 2 Timothy 1 and verse 2, please.
2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 2. To Timothy, my dearly beloved son, grace, mercy, and peace from Elohim the Father and Mashiach Yahshua, our Master.
All right. So here's Shaul writing to Timothy, faithful brother. Faithful. Spiritual Yisrael.
Hallelujah.
Says to Timothy, my dearly beloved. My dearly Ahabban. Hain, Hasid, and Shalom from Elohim, the Father, and Mashiach Yahshua, our Adon, our Master. He's talking to Timothy as part of the 12 spiritual tribe nation. All right, verse 3.
Verse 3. I thank Elohim, whom I serve from my forefathers, with pure conscience and without ceasing. I have remembrance of thee in my prayers night and day.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Greatly desire to see thee, being mindful of thy tears, that I may be filled with joy.
Verse 5.
Verse 5. When I call to remembrance the unfeigned faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I am persuaded that in thee also.
All right. So it says, when I call to remembrance the true Emunah that's in you, Timothy, even though you're a stranger, which dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice. Now we know that she was a Hebrew. We don't know what the grandmother was. It could have been the Greek, man's mother, or it could have been her mother. But either way, they had converted. They had become spiritual Yisrael. So Yahweh says, if you're married to somebody and then you wake up and find out, all right, you shouldn't have married that person, then don't put them away. Just deal with it. You understand? All right. But she disobeyed Yahweh. She broke His commandments.
She knew.
All right. But he said, I'm persuaded, and your grandmother, Timothy, and your mother, Eunice. Everything's going good with you. They didn't say what the father was doing. All right? But at least whatever was going on, they turned back to Yahweh. And she raised him to be with Yahweh, except she didn't get him circumcised. All right, go to Acts the 10th chapter. So a Gentile stranger, Cornelius, Acts the 10th chapter, became part of Yahweh's 12 spiritual tribe nation. Acts 10.
Praise the mighty God. Revelation knowledge.
So strangers don't have to feel bad.
No, they don't.
Trying to be part of the 12 natural tribes.
No, just
what is that? That just means you have more to do. You're to 12 natural tribes, and it means you better not mess up. Acts 10, and let's start at verse 1, please.
Hallelujah.
Acts chapter 10 and verse 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Okay.
Now, this is one of these isles of the Gentiles.
Right.
All right? That meant he was a Roman. He's a Gentile.
Right,
He's
right.
a Japhethite.
Yeah.
He was in Caesarea, a centurion of the band called the Italian band.
Okay.
All right. He was a Roman. All right. Verse 2.
Verse 2. A devout man, and one that feared Elohim
Yes.
with all his house,
With all his body.
which gave much alms to the people, and prayed to Elohim
Hallelujah.
always.
All right. So now this devout man, in other words, he believed in Yahweh.
All right.
And he was doing the right thing. He was keeping Yahweh's commandments.
Right,
and so Yahweh started dealing with this Gentile.
Okay.
All right. As part of spiritual Yisrael.
That's
Those
it.
12 spiritual tribes.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 3.
Verse 3. He saw in a vision, evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of Elohim coming in to him and saying unto him, Cornelius.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. And when he looked on him, he was afraid and said, What is it, master? And he said unto him, Thy prayers and thy alms are come up for memorial before Elohim.
Hallelujah.
So look at how Yahweh is talking to this
Hallelujah.
Gentile. All right. But he's spiritual Yisrael.
All right.
All right. Natural Gentiles, Yahweh don't talk to them. We're going to go to the scripture where Yahweh says they were cut off and no hope
Right.
in this world.
Right.
Until Yahweh made a blessed loophole so they
Yep.
could come into
Hallelujah.
the commonwealth of Israel.
Yeah.
All right, verse 5.
Verse 5. And now send men to Joppa and call for one Shimon, whose surname is Kepha.
6.
Verse 6. He lodged with one Shimon, a tanner, whose house is by the seaside. He shall tell thee what thou oughtest to do.
Now here
Hallelujah.
is the
Hallelujah.
angel. Yahweh sent the angel
Hallelujah.
to explain to this Gentile
All right.
to come to spiritual Yisrael, one of the 12 spiritual tribe nation that's set up.
Yeah.
And he's talking about Shimon Kepha. All right, he said he's at this man's house. I want you to go over there so he can tell you what to do. So that's why Yahweh said, study the scriptures.
Yes.
So then Yahweh can tell you what to tell other people.
Hallelujah.
That's what these 12 natural tribes are set up for.
Yes.
And for Yahweh to cause them to come into their true calling,
Right.
their true selves as
Right.
a 12 spiritual tribe nation.
Totally
That's why we're not studying just for ourselves.
No.
We're studying so when Yahweh sends the people to us, and not if.
Yes.
Just like here, and he's telling this Gentile, let me send you over to my people, spiritual
Right.
Israel, so they can tell you what to do.
Hallelujah.
Not that you're underneath them, but Yahweh
No.
set up this nation, the 12 natural tribes, and made them into the 12 spiritual tribes.
Yes.
To instruct the other people
Yes.
throughout the world. That's
Yes.
what we're set up for.
Hallelujah.
Not to be standing up talking about I'm part of the 12 natural tribe. All right? But he's saying, I'm going to send you over to this man so he can tell you what to do. And Kepha was part of the 12 natural tribes.
Yeah.
But he had converted to become spiritual
Just
Israel.
like Israel.
He wouldn't have just said him as just some natural Israel person. All right, verse 7.
Verse 7. And when the angel which spake unto Cornelius was departed, he called 2 of his household servants and a devout soldier of them that waited on him continually.
So you see how this man, his faith, this Gentile, was converting people in his house.
Yeah.
He's talking about a devout soldier of him that waited on him continually.
Right? Praise
So
Yahweh.
they were watching him and they were serving
Yes.
Yahweh too, but they just needed to understand how to do it.
Yes.
So now Yahweh's hooking them up
Hallelujah.
with spiritual Israel.
Yes.
All right, verse 8.
Verse 8. And when he had declared all these things unto them, he sent them to Joppa.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. And on the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Kepha went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour.
10.
Verse 10. And he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready, he fell into a trance.
11.
Verse 11. And saw heaven open, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the 4 corners, and let down to the earth.
So right after Yahweh had me put this in the lesson, I was talking to a relative of mine, and she heard something about that, and she was trying to say you can pick up anything that crawls and eat it.
Oh, no.
And, you know, pray over it and eat
Right,
it.
right.
And
That's
she
right.
asked me specifically, so, you know, what is it, you know, isn't there something in the Bible where they talk about, you know, a sheet came down and all manner of beasts, and then I said, you know what? I'm so glad you asked me, because
Praise
Yahweh
my
just
God.
had, I hadn't read
Hallelujah.
I hadn't read these facts
Right.
in years.
Right, right.
And I said, I just read those facts, and as a matter of fact, that's not talking about food at all.
No, it's
I
not.
said, most people think it's
God,
talking about
right,
food. And then the Ruach gave me the words to speak to her, and then about an hour later, when she had said she's going to search it out, then she texted me back, yeah, you know, you're right. I said, no, Yahweh's right.
That's right. Hallelujah.
It's got nothing to do with it. I said, and then the Ruach said, and Yahweh refers to Japhethites, Gentiles. He uses wild animal terms, but it was just like, whoa, the timing.
Hallelujah. That's how it goes.
Just look at it.
Praise Yahweh.
So here we see that Kepha, he was hungry. They're just letting you know, okay, he told this Gentile what to do and go, you know, see where Kepha was, so he could tell him how to serve Yahweh. And then Kepha was hungry. He went up to the housetop. Now it's saying he's seeing a trance. He's in a trance, and he says he saw, looks like a boat or a sheet, and it says at the four corners, and it was coming down to the earth. He was seeing this vision. All right, verse 12.
Verse 12. Wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air.
Verse 13.
Verse 13. And there came a voice to him, Rise, Kepha, kill and eat.
14.
Verse 14. But Kepha said, Not so, Master, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.
And so that's what this relative said. Yeah, you know, and this really says that there's nothing common and unclean. I said, no, it's not even talking about food.
Right.
You just do your research and praise Yahweh if she saw the truth of it. It's not even talking about food.
No, it's not.
It says there was all manner in this sheet of four-footed beasts of the earth, wild beasts, creeping things, and fowls of the air. This represents Japheth people. This represents the Gentiles. But Yahweh will break it down and let us know what it means. But in people's natural mind, they think it's talking about food.
Yes, they do.
And then Kepha said, oh no, I can't eat this stuff. He said, I've never eaten anything that's common or unclean.
I'm not breaking
so that's
the
what she
Torah.
was trying to say. Yeah, there's nothing common or unclean. I said, yes it is. You better just go and search and see what Yahweh tells you. He's talking about.
See